ドジャースのマックス・マンシーは日本時間3日に米野球専門ポッドキャスト番組ファウルテリトリーに出演し、球団初のワールドシリーズ連覇を支えるドジャースカルチャーについて語りました。クラブハウスに根付く文化の中で、大谷翔平もすぐに溶け込み、歓迎されていることを明かしています。マンシーが強調したのは、ドジャース特有の対話の文化です。他球団では選手同士の口論がニュースになることもありますが、ドジャースでは同じようなシーンでも雰囲気が全く違うといいます。マンシーは、誰かが誰かを注意しても、それは議論ではなく会話になる。プレーに対して、こうした方が良かったんじゃないか、と言われたら、確かにその通りだ。その瞬間はこう考えていたが、そうするべきだった、という形になる。いつもディスカッションなんだと説明し、建設的な話し合いによって互いを高め合っていると語りました。その流れの中でマンシーは、大谷翔平と交わしたディスカッションのエピソードにも触れ、この対話の文化に大谷翔平もすぐに馴染んでいると強調しました。これらの模様を日本語字幕付きでご紹介します。
I mean, I wasn't going to ask this until you said it, but did you ever see a time when Shohei was like, guys, can I borrow a few bucks because he was only making $2 million this year? Or was he totally fine, the same generous Shohei that he's always been?
I mean, Sho's never changed. Let's be honest. Sho's doing just fine with his off the field stuff. So, I think he's doing all right.
Okay, good. I'm glad you cleaned that up. But I'm going to go to your teammates because another team had something come up that I thought was kind of a know-nothingness to talk about, but it was arguments between players. Certain players were arguing about how somebody made a play or whatever. You guys won the World Series this year. Did you have any arguments at all during a 162 game plus spring training plus World Series moment where somebody had to call somebody out, somebody was mad at somebody else during the entire season?
One of the unique things with our roster is there's so much experience and, veterancy that, when people get called out, it's never an argument. It's always, hey, this is how we probably should have done this. This is how you need to do this. And there's so much respect for everyone inside the clubhouse that never turns into an argument. It's always a discussion. If someone came to me and was like, hey, you should do this, I would tell them, all right, this is what I was thinking. You're right. I probably should have done it this way, but this is what was going through my head at that moment. That's why I did it this way. And that's happened several times throughout the course, of all the seasons I've been there, where it just turns into discussions instead of, hey, what are you doing? You need to pull your head out of your butt. And, it's never been that way since I've been here with the Dodgers. And, there's been a lot of discussions that go on, but it's just grown men having conversations about what we need to do to be better at certain things. And, that's just a whole team holding each other accountable. And it's never escalated to the point of being, an argument that's caught on camera.
Max, is that from Dave? Is that from Doc? Or is that from guys like you and Freddie and Mookie and Clayton and guys like that? Because I've been on teams where guys, we won and you didn't always get along. There was arguments or discussions or whatever you want to call it. But is that a Dave thing? Or is that just you guys are all really good and you're like, you know what, we can have mature argument?
I think it's an all the above thing. Doc has always had his finger on the pulse of the clubhouse. He knows exactly what's going on with people. He knows, who he can talk to certain ways, because everyone's different. There's some guys that need to have, they need to get chewed out a little bit. And there's other guys you need to coddle them a little bit. And, sometimes you have to go outside the norm, but Doc always knows who he can talk to and how he can approach certain ways and what he needs to do to get the most out of players. And then the other part of it is it's just everyone in the clubhouse knowing, if Freddie is coming up to you and saying something, you're not just going to immediately jump back at Freddie and, start getting mad at him because it's like, okay, this guy's been around a long time. He knows what he's doing. If Mookie's saying that, I remember very clearly, within the first month of us having Shohei, there was a play where he was running the bases and he didn't necessarily get as good a secondary lead. He wasn't able to score on a certain play. And after the game, it was like Freddie, Mookie, Clayton, our first base coach, several of us grabbed him and we just said, hey, we just want to show you something. This is what you did on your secondary, that you need to be a little bit better at this, and that would allow you to score. And, he was just like, oh, this is great. People are approaching me and wanting to talk to me about and that's how we've always done things here. And it's just, that's part of the culture that we've created.
Is there anybody on the team that they don't respond to oh, great job, Max. Oh, that's the example I give is Didi Gregorius was always, he would yell at somebody if they said, oh, good swing, Didi. He's like, good swing? He's like, I got out. I don't care if I hit every ball hard and I get out, I'm pissed. Who's that guy on the Dodgers that just is like, no, it's all about it's do not coddle me at all?
Freddie's that way a little bit. Freddie always thinks his swing sucks, and then he's hitting 330 at the end of the year, and it's like, it's just that. But that's how Freddie operates. That's what makes him, one of the best first basemen ever. That's just how that's how his mind operates. He always thinks he needs to fix something in his swing, and even though his swing is super simple, it's that's just how he's always thinking. He's like, oh, my swing's cutty today, it's not going to work, and then he has 3 doubles later in the game, and he's still sitting on the bench saying, yeah, my swing's just not right. And it's like, man, I wish my swing wasn't right. I'd love 3 doubles today.
By the way, and then the best part about Freddie is he'll be like, oh, I can't wait to go home and see Fred, his dad. And you're like, he'll get me right. And you're like, Freddie, you're hitting 330 with 30 and 100, and it's June. Oh, yeah, I can't wait to see what happens when your dad sees you, because then what else can you do? I used to love that because I played with Freddie, a long time ago. And he'd get 3 hits. He'd be like, gosh, I had a bad night. I'm like, Freddie, you had 3 hits, dude. Like, what can you possibly complain about?
Exactly. But, that's just how he operates. And that's what makes him so good. Mookie's a little bit the same way where, Mookie's whole workday, he'll sit there and say that something's not working in his swing. And then he goes out there and, he's hitting rockets all over the field. And, there's certain guys that's just how they operate. And then I've seen the complete opposite side of that where, a guy will take 5 swings and go, yep, I'm good. And then he goes out there and he has 3 hits. And it's, everyone's different in how they work.
Okay, so then let's go to one of your teammates. Shohei announced he's playing for Japan in the WBC. If you are asked to play for USA and it comes down to you and the Mike Trout at bat against Shohei or Yamamoto or Sasaki, and you take them deep to win the game, are you talking trash as you run around the bases, or are you like, I am so sorry because we need you for the 162?
In that moment, I'm celebrating with the team, and however that celebration comes out, it's going to come out. I can't tell you how that would happen. I will tell you that if that did happen throughout the course of the entire season, I would just throw little jabs here and there. Just, hey, good morning. Remember when I took you deep to win? Yeah, I do too. And just walk away. You don't got to make it long. Just throw little jabs here and there. That's probably how I would do that one.
All right, we have producer lady who checks you in every time you come on the show. She has a theory, which I don't disagree with. Shohei enjoys a little bit of trolling, just a little bit. Like when he won his MVP, he kissed his dog and not his wife. When he said thank you to the fans, he made his thank you fans make it look like some people on social media were like, is Shohei retiring? What's going on? Does he like little jokes and barbs more than the stoic exterior? Oh, and also he did the Lourdes Gurriel, he kind of trolled him after he hit the home run to put you guys ahead in Arizona the one time earlier this year too.
Yeah, I will say Shohei's a very funny guy. So there might be a little bit of that in there. I'm not entirely sure. He is a very funny guy though, and that's something that a lot of people don't know about him. Is he's really funny. He just loves having fun. He loves to show up to the field, and he's got a great personality. He just likes to have fun. He loves to smile in the clubhouse, and I know a lot of people don't always see that out on the field, but that's who he is. He's just a great person that loves having fun.
Yeah, we're seeing more and more of it, even though we can't hear much when we watch him in the playoffs. I mean, that's why for years, like it sucked to not have Shohei in the playoffs. Now the whole world gets to watch him, and I don't know, just his mannerisms, they're good.
Let's shift gears real quick into the World Baseball Classic. He, of course, has announced that he will be representing Japan. The Dodgers cannot block his participation in this. The same goes for Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I believe there's some language around Roki Sasaki because of how much time he spent on the 60-day injured list that they could theoretically block participation. What they can do is they can request that these guys not be pitched in certain ways or follow strict usage, or in Ohtani's case, maybe not pitch at all. Dave Roberts had this to say, quote, "We'll support them." This was to Japanese media, but I do think that the pitching, it's a lot on the body, the arm. The rest will be beneficial for next year for our season, but we understand how important the WBC is for these individual players and the country of Japan. What do you make about, we haven't officially heard from Yamamoto and Sasaki about involvement in the WBC, have we?
No, we have not. So, I mean, I think Yamamoto is basically a lock would be my guess. Sasaki, I do think there's more uncertainty there. It wouldn't shock me if he also participates or, is available and just doesn't pitch all that much. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting scenario for the Dodgers. The WBC, as much as it means to these countries, these players and respective countries, I get it. The Dodgers get it. Like they've expressed that. I think also if the Dodgers had their druthers, like nobody would be participating, especially when it comes to Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And as Daniel would say, no disrespect to Roki Sasaki, but those first two are a little bit more important to the team right now than Sasaki. And, he could certainly get there. And he did, I guess, in the playoffs. So yeah, maybe to walk back that stance. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. Like, I don't imagine the Dodgers and Ohtani will compromise on WBC participation, not necessarily pitching, maybe that much type thing. Yeah. Yamamoto's the interesting one. I mean, we saw what he did to end the season, and so like
he can't hit. So if he's involved, it will only be as the pitcher, right?
Right. Maybe they put some sort of cap on him, like no more than 70 to 80 pitches per outing type thing. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes.
As a Dodgers fan, and primarily a Dodgers fan, I'm saying this. It's not good for the Dodgers that any of these guys are participating in the World Baseball Classic. And it's not just the Japanese guys. Like, if you are a Dodgers fan and all you were to care about is the Dodgers, and you don't care about these people as human beings, you don't care about any of this stuff, the entertainment value, the World Baseball Classic, etc., none of it is good for the Dodgers. I mean, Roki Sasaki, maybe. Sasaki getting reps, being in that environment, that might be good. But, like, if the Dodgers had their way, Ohtani wouldn't participate. Yamamoto wouldn't participate. None of these guys would participate in any capacity. Nothing good can come of this for the veteran guys. They don't need development. They don't need reps. It is simply a risk of injury. It is simply a taxing of the arm for every single pitcher. And so that's what stinks for the Dodgers in this regard. And again, they can't tell Ohtani, you're not allowed to play. They probably wouldn't anyways, right? They know this is part of the deal. You sign Ohtani, you sign Yamamoto, you have the best players. You have to take these sort of risks. But I just want to say out loud that piece. This is bad for the Dodgers that they're involved. My hope is that exactly what you said comes about, which is the Dodgers are able to have a conversation with Ohtani, Yamamoto, Team Japan, and say, hey, here's the deal. These guys just pitched all the way until, what was it, November 2nd, technically, when the World Series ended, right? Which I just told you my deal. Like, put these guys on ice until May, as far as I'm concerned. But I hope there's at least some sort of like, yo, we're not going crazy with these guys, right? Like, I know you want to win, but it can't come at the risk of these players and their availability. The question is, as we've hinted at, Ohtani really wants this. Yamamoto really wants this. They talk about the World Baseball Classic to them, to Japan, is bigger than the World Series. Now, I don't know if Ohtani and Yamamoto would say that personally as guys who are competing for both, but in Japan, this is like the biggest deal. This is the Super Bowl. This is the number one thing they could go at.
Yeah, and obviously we're focusing on this year leading into 2026, but really you could go back to 2024. Like, it's been a long 2 years for the Dodgers, starting in South Korea, playing through the World Series, starting in Tokyo, playing through the World Series, now WBC games. Like, I mean, honestly, like,
and Yamamoto's been there the entire time.
Yeah. And if the WBC wasn't coming up next year, I wouldn't be shocked if the Dodgers didn't have the likes of Ohtani, Freeman, Yamamoto, mainly those guys, maybe perhaps a few, like really not playing in spring training games until like after the first week or something, like middle of the month, like middle of their schedule. Like it wouldn't shock me if that's the approach that they would have taken. So yeah, I mean it's kind of it's a double-edged sword. Dodgers don't want to be a team. You can't be that team that tells these players no. I mean you know.
They're literally not allowed to tell guys they can't participate.
Right.
So, but I think you know underneath it all, they're definitely thinking, my goodness, we hope this isn't what happens. I love this from Cole with the super chat. Don't mess with the cash cow that is Japan. That's part of it, right? Some people are saying, hey, it's a branding thing. Hey, these guys in Japan. I'll just say this. I think Ohtani and Yamamoto are plenty big in Japan. I don't think a World Baseball Classic is going to move the needle all that much for these two guys. Based on a friend who was just in Japan, Ohtani is literally everywhere. Like I don't know if there was more billboard space for him to take up in Japan, regardless of how the WBC goes.